Hey guys, Ralph here from the Endgame Investor. I just had yesterday a very enlightening and pleasant debate with Crypto Rich on what is money, Bitcoin, gold, silver. I'm sure you've heard these debates before, but this one is going to be different from any of those similar debates that you've heard in the past because I am taking the logical basis for the argument instead of the empirical one. You'll see what I mean when you see the debate. And really, Rich is such a sweet guy, and I had such a great time talking with him and chatting with him. Very polite, very respectful, and I hope to do more debates with him or more discussions with him because he just seems like a great human being, and it's just great to talk to people who really listen and want to learn, and me too from him. I'm just glad to have this opportunity. These are not points that you've heard from people like Peter Schiff, who argues more on the empirical standpoint. These are points that you should really hear from institutions like the Mises Institute that argues on a positivist basis. My argument basically is that regardless of what Bitcoin's dollar value is, as a dollar substitute, when the dollar loses all purchasing power because of hyperinflation, Bitcoin will lose all purchasing power too. And my plea is that those who have become millionaires and billionaires and whatever from Bitcoin, I'm very happy, sincerely, and I want you to maintain your purchasing power so that when the SHTF and we have hyperinflation of the dollar and the monetary system collapses, you do not lose all your purchasing power and you put at least some of it away into the origin of real money, which is gold and silver, and you maintain as many real resources as you can so we can rebuild the world that is going to collapse. Together, we are all on the same side, and I wish everybody will be rich in real terms, whether that is through gold or Bitcoin. I don't care. If you want to support me, please sign up for a 2-week free trial of the Endgame Investor. Link in the description below. And you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/endgameinvestor. And I hope to see you on this channel. Subscribe, like, love, favorite, go crazy, go nuts, push all the buttons, and have a good week.
Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. That's right, we're going to fill our pockets with crypto profits, aren't we, Rafi? And what we're going to be talking about is Bitcoin, gold and silver as money. Are they money, and what is money? And this is going to be going on my channel and also on Rafi's channel. Rafi, do you want to introduce the video as you would on your channel?
Yeah, hey guys, this is Rafi from the Endgame Investor. And I'm going to be engaging in a debate with Crypto Rich here on what money is and whether Bitcoin is money or gold and silver are money. And I'll be taking the Austrian stance, as I always do, as I'm an Austrian economist, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Great, thank you. And please do subscribe to his channel and subscribe to my channel. Links are in the description below. And also I recorded an interview with you, Rafi, which I think I posted a few days ago on my channels, which is all about what you were saying about how things are shaping up in terms of hyperinflation, the supply chain, and increasing the currency supply, because currency is not money. Okay, so should we start with talking about what is money? Just so people are really clear, what are the characteristics of money?
Yeah, well, instead of making it a checkbox, right? That's all arbitrary. In terms of money is fungible, money is divisible, money is this and that. Those are just characteristics of what a good money is. But it's not like there's like this definition, Torah mina shamayim, meaning coming from heaven, that says if you check all these boxes, you have a money, and if you miss one of them, you don't have a money. These are all man-made definitions. But the simplest logical definition of a money is basically what Karl Menger said, and he's the founder of the Austrian school. Not Mises. Mises, we could call him a neo-Austrian because he kind of pulled together macro and microeconomics into a single discipline, whereas Karl Menger founded the school itself on the micro level. And what did Karl Menger say money is? It is simply this: the most marketable good commodity of all other goods, the thing that is easiest to sell, that most people will buy, and that happened to be gold and silver at that time, and for thousands of years that's what it has been. Because if you need to trade, it's very simple. It's very hard to trade one good for another good, but if it's not gold or silver, if it's not an extremely marketable commodity, because then the direct trading doesn't work. Barter is very difficult. You need to find exactly what you want, and you got to find the guy who has exactly what you want and trade for the exact amounts. It's very, very difficult. So money just is a most marketable commodity, and it develops itself from the ground up. And whatever ends up being the most marketable is the best money. It doesn't mean there's only one money. You can have two monies, gold and silver. Copper could be a money. In a prison, cigarettes could be a money. If you develop a microeconomy like that, cigarettes could be the most marketable commodity within that microeconomy. So there's no magical one thing that is money. And Bitcoin is a different story, but we'll get to that later. What do you think money is?
Sure. No, I think that's good. The most marketable commodity. I'd add to it, there's nothing intrinsic about gold or silver or Bitcoin or the USD or the GBP. There's nothing intrinsic that makes them valuable other than people that agree that they're valuable. You know, if you gave me a gold ounce, I'd be very grateful, Rafi, right? I'd agree. Yeah, I'll take that, right? If you were to offer me an ounce of, I don't know, mud, thanks, Rafi, but you know, that ain't gonna fly with me. I don't agree with that. Right?
Right, exactly. I agree with you here. There's no such thing as intrinsic, because let's say, for example, let's say you were totally allergic to gold, and if you touched it, you died. Okay, let's just say that. Or let's say even if you owned it, you died. You had this like psychic connection to gold. If you ever own an ounce of gold, you're dead. Whatever, just theoretically. Then does gold have any value for you? No, because if you have any relationship to it, you're dead. So it has no value for you. So it depends on what individual people value it for, and that's just what they think.
Yeah, and it's individual, but also there's a collective agreement. So, you know, if you and I were to find ourselves in the Amazon, or, you know, with hunter-gatherers, living as hunter-gatherers, where they don't have a money-based economy because their society is so simple that they don't need an exchange, a universal transfer of value, then, you know, it's a little, here's a Silver Britannia coin, which is a beautiful coin, by the way. Silver Britannia is just beautiful. Then we're like, well, what are we going to do with this? We can't hunt or fish with this, right?
Well, I would disagree with you there, because at some point, human civilization started using gold and silver as money. It started, and we were all hunter-gatherers at some point. And I would bet you that if I were to show a silver coin or a gold coin to a hunter-gatherer, they might not know which one is more valuable, and what they offer me could be very wrong in terms of the real market price, because they don't know it. But I'm sure I would be able to find a hunter-gatherer who would trade me food for a silver coin just because it's beautiful, because he's curious. Because this is what attracted humanity to it in the first place. It is beautiful, and it doesn't tarnish. Or silver does. Well, gold doesn't. I mean, it attracts human curiosity and artistic sense, or whatever it is. I mean, that's why it started.
Sure. And it's funny because I read somewhere that silver only started tarnishing after the Industrial Revolution because of the increase of sulfur in the air. So prior to that, it didn't. Which is why it's been used as money. So gold doesn't react with anything pretty much, and silver, you know, okay, you can polish off the sulfur or whatever, right? But it didn't react with anything. So, but I want to, for my own sake, right? Because I think you're the one with the economist background and everything, just to go over it. So one fungibility, which the characteristics of money, so that, you know, what the thing about a gold ounce is the same as any other gold ounce. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no lead or tungsten in it. It's no longer a gold ounce if it's the thing, right? If that happens. Right. Then the other is divisibility, that we should be able to divide it. So actually, if you think like shells, human beings have used shells as money. Well, one shell isn't necessarily the same as the other because they might have different shapes or textures or colors, but also you can't divide them. Give me half a shell for that, right? Yeah. So it's not, so portable, so fungible, divisible, portable, you've got to be able to transfer it in some way. And it might even be by a certificate, which is what used to happen with gold and stuff, and it still does in a way, right? Because the certificate is the currency that represents the value of the money, of the gold. Yes. And then also
the currency is the money substitute.
Yes, thank you. And then durable. There's no point in me giving you a gold coin or something, I don't know, that's going to disappear or something, or, you know, you got it and then in your pocket and then it's just gone. It's got to be durable. I saw a video on YouTube many, many years ago when I was learning about money and stuff, about how in a particular state, I can't remember, they used to use tobacco as money. But then what happened was people started growing lots and lots of tobacco. And that inflated the money supply, but also the tobacco leaf didn't last, it would
Oh, wait,
decay.
it didn't inflate the money supply. It expanded the money supply because it was still
Thank
real
you.
tobacco.
Thank you. It increased the money supply, but also the tobacco decayed. And then there was instances of people warehousing tobacco and then using certificates that represented the tobacco that they owned that had been warehoused. It's all fascinating, but it didn't last because tobacco degraded, but also it wasn't scarce because people just started growing more and more tobacco. Then you had people attacking those new tobacco farms because it was diminishing the value of the tobacco that they had.
Well, so yeah, so you see there, and that, I think it was Virginia in the 1700s. I think you're talking about. So at that point, tobacco started out as the best money for that period of time.
Yeah.
But because it had it had like the characteristics that you said of money. It's not what makes it a money. It's those characteristics are what makes something a good money. And the more it has, of those characteristics, fungibility, divisibility, etc., transportability, the more it has of those qualities, the better a money it is, right? And so tobacco was good until the point where everyone figured out that you can make it not scarce. And then at the point when it's not scarce, it's not a good money. So it can't last that long. Which is why gold is a better money, and tobacco can't work for very long, even though it can work for some time under some special conditions, like a prison in cigarettes, similarly to that.
Yeah, or tins of, I remember reading a book about where they used tins of mackerel in a prison until somebody managed to get loads of mackerel into the prison.
Right.
And that expanded the money supply. Okay, so gold is fungible, it's divisible, it's portable, it's scarce, and I think, is there anything else I've missed out?
Fungible, what else would make something a good money? Yeah, it doesn't change. It doesn't change.
Durable. Yeah, it doesn't change, right?
Oh, okay.
The same thing applies for silver, right?
Right. It's hard to forge, difficult to fake, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can't. We haven't managed to make.
Right. And unlike tobacco, there's no like good gold and lesser quality gold. There's none of that.
That's the fungibility.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So one piece of gold is like 24 karat gold here is like 24 karat gold there, right? Gold is gold. Okay. So why some of that I would say fits Bitcoin. So let's just talk about Bitcoin. So why Bitcoin is fungible, although I'll come to that. I think it isn't, right? There are other cryptocurrencies that are far more fungible. It is divisible, I think up to 8 decimal points. It is portable. I can send it to you by phone. It can't be counterfeited because you can't alter the algorithm. There isn't the computing power in the world to do that. It's durable. It lasts as long as electricity lasts. And you can't make more of it. Durable, portable, fungible. And there's agreement. If you don't think it's money, Rafi, that's fine. Send me all your Bitcoin. I'll take it off you.
I don't think it's money, but I do believe it is a valuable money substitute for now. I'm not saying it doesn't have value. It obviously has value, but the question is why, right? So here's the differentiation. I want to make an argument that Bitcoin cannot be money, and it can never ever be money from an Austrian logical standpoint, not from an empirical standpoint. You're making an empirical point here. Bitcoin is this, fungible, divisible, blah, blah, blah. I agree, fine. But what the hell is it? Okay, so here's where I'm going to go back to. Did you see my video on Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's basically the argument I'm going to make here, right? So when Bitcoin came into existence, right, it had all these external qualities which make something a good money, right? We discussed that. These things make gold a good money, but it's not what makes it money in the first place. What makes it money in the first place is that somebody wants the actual thing for itself, right? That's how gold started. They saw a lump of gold. They're like, oh, that looks shiny, beautiful. I want this. This is what I want. Why do I want it? I don't know. I love it. It's great. It's wonderful. It looks nice. Who cares? He just wanted the thing. Okay, that's you. Before you have any of the fungible, divisible, whatever, you have to have somebody want the thing.
Yeah, the agreement.
No, you have to have one person want that thing for itself because he likes this thing. He just wants to have it, not for any other reason. what Ludwig von Mises said about prices, right? When we wake up in the morning, basically, and we tell ourselves, okay, I have to work this many hours to make this much money so I can buy the things I need today. How do we know how much we're supposed to work, how much money we're supposed to make, what we're supposed to buy, how much it's going to cost? How do you know that? Like, if you just woke up on this planet, you'd have no idea what you're supposed to do or how much you're supposed to work or what you're supposed to produce. The answer is because we extrapolate from the day before what prices were the day before, and we can basically figure out how much we have to do. We know where we fit into the division of labor because we knew where we fit in yesterday. Without that, we would have no idea, and the division of labor would break down entirely. It would be the zombie apocalypse. Nobody would know what to do. Okay, so you go back one day, you go back 2 days, you go back 3 days. Now we can go back to the day when Bitcoin was born. And here's the crux of it. When Bitcoin was born and somebody said, oh, I want that Bitcoin. The question is, why did they want that Bitcoin? Why did they exchange it? And what did they exchange it for? The answer is, in my opinion, they exchanged it for dollars. They wanted the Bitcoin because they knew they could exchange it for dollars. And why do people want dollars? Why do people want dollars? They want dollars because they know based on yesterday what dollar prices are of things. They know they can get things with dollars. Nobody wants the dollar. Nobody can do anything with a dollar. They want the things they can get for the dollars. Gold, people sometimes want it for itself. Not everybody wants it for itself, but if you were to give somebody just a gold thing, he would want it for itself because it is a beautiful lump of gold.
Mhm.
So when you go back in time, the Bitcoin is based on the dollar, and the dollar is based on gold. The only reason that dollars have any value is because they were originally gold substitutes, and they are still gold substitutes because you can still exchange dollars for gold. Now the question is, Bitcoin, if it is if the dollar is a Bitcoin substitute, sorry, the dollar is a gold substitute, and Bitcoin, when it was born, is a dollar substitute because you want Bitcoins for the dollars that they can get you, and you want dollars for the gold that can be exchanged for it back in time, because all the exchanges of all of humanity have to go back to that monetary origin point in order to have a continuous loop, a continuous line from the origin of gold as money until now, because you have to have a constant division of labor flow of this monetary value, or else everything breaks down. So my point is, when the dollar collapses and it becomes absolutely worthless, meaning it is no longer a gold substitute, and that point is when the dollar can no longer be exchanged for any amount of physical, actual gold you can hold in your hand. You cannot give anybody any lump of dollars for any amount of gold at all, and they just refuse. At that point, Bitcoin could be worth $100 trillion, and it wouldn't be worth anything in terms of purchasing power.
Okay. I think you're making 3 points there. So let
Okay.
me say what I've heard, so I make sure I represent you accurately. So one is that because the price change, you didn't use these words, right? But it's so volatile. How do I know that 8 hours of labor yesterday is going to earn me 8 hours of labor today? Like the equivalent value, or this, if I buy a car with Bitcoin yesterday, or how much Bitcoin is going to cost me tomorrow, right? Given the change in price, it makes pricing difficult. Then the other thing you talk about,
that's not, I can make my
not
point even stronger. I can make my point even stronger than that. I'm not saying anything about Bitcoin volatility. Let's assume that Bitcoin is entirely stable,
Yep.
100% stable, and it's like perfectly stable, matches the dollar. Okay, even then, it doesn't matter because it's still a dollar substitute.
Okay. Now, why it's a dollar substitute is, I think, to do with that Bitcoin is an emerging form of money, but there is increasing use of it. I imagine there are people over the world who are within the cryptocurrency space who are transacting in cryptocurrency without going to dollars, right? Then I have gold and silver, but why I have gold and silver is because at some point I believe they're going to go up in value as measured against fiat currency, and as a way of preserving value or whatever, spending power.
That's not the only reason you have gold and silver. That's a big reason you have gold and silver. This has to do with marginal utility, right? So in Austrian economics, the more of a good you have, let's say you have a bottle of water, right?
Yep.
Why do you have that water? Because you want to drink the water, because you can be thirsty and you need water to live. Why do you have 10 bottles of water? Because maybe you want to cook with some of it and you want to take a shower or whatever. Why do you have 1 million bottles of water? Because maybe you want, then each more bottle of water that you have is less valuable than the previous bottle of water you have because you have more of it, so you're willing to part with it for less.
Yep.
Right? So the reason you have a lot of gold and silver might be because you're trying to preserve your purchasing power or whatever. But the reason you have any gold and silver is based on the fact that you like the look of the things. They're shiny and they're beautiful and you want them. No. If you don't have any gold and silver and now you have one, there is an element in your gold and silver collection that it is beautiful and you like
it. Is beautiful.
There is an element of that. There's something about the stuff itself that you want. With the Bitcoin, I don't think there is anybody in the world who says, I have 10 Bitcoin or 100 Bitcoin and I just love the things. And I don't care what the price is. I just want to hold them forever because they're just beautiful. I just love them.
Okay. So here you're referencing an emotional connection, I think, right? That people like it, they find it attractive. Now, there are other things that are attractive. Platinum, palladium, rhodium, diamonds. My wife wants diamonds. I have no interest in them, right? I mean, they are beautiful looking metals, but not a diamond, right? But the others, I don't want them for that because they don't have the utility. Now, some people might. Now, in terms of an emotional connection to Bitcoin, when the value of Bitcoin goes up against gold or silver or fiat currency, I feel happy. When it goes down, I'm not so happy. However, the reason why I want them is and I think the reason why they're going to be used is because of their utility, that people can use them in an exchange of value and because of the qualities of money.
Yeah, that's the point I was making. The reason you want them is because you can exchange stuff for them. That's also true with gold, but not 100%. There is a desire for the gold itself in you.
With some people, see, that might be a personal thing. Some people may prefer, or some groups of people, personally, I think silver is the prettiest of the lot, right? I think silver is much prettier than gold, and I think silver is much prettier than Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin makes me happier because Bitcoin has not been, isn't subject to naked shorting the way gold and silver are, and I think one of the things that you said about price earlier on, I think you were saying about price, is that if there wasn't the naked shorting, and if you don't know what naked shorting is as you're watching this video, essentially that there's more paper gold and paper silver that's traded on the markets like it's real gold and silver, and what it does, it increases the supply and it makes it less valuable. If there wasn't any of that, how much would gold and silver be worth now? And people would want it even more, because normally, I remember, I don't know when it was, the last bull run for gold, and for silver, when it went up to $50, people were, the retail investor, they were out queuing to get it because it was going up in value more. So they want it more then, rather than.
I'm not saying that I'm definitely not saying that if gold goes up in value, more people want it. Obviously, that's true. What I'm saying is that Bitcoin as a dollar substitute has no base. And I don't want to use the word intrinsic. And I'm not saying that every single person in the world has to want gold. And if one person doesn't want it for itself, then it's not money. Remember, there's no hard definition of like everybody has to want it. I'm just saying it is relatively the most marketable commodity for itself, because most people want some amount of gold for something and are able. There's a base, right? For Bitcoin, none of what you're saying deals with the question of what is Bitcoin. Is it the basic question is it a dollar substitute or a gold substitute? Now, theoretically, if, let's say, history was like, okay, so gold was developed as money and then people were trading gold coins, isn't that right? Let's just say that. And then we skip the whole paper era. We're in a different universe, and all of a sudden somebody invented a Bitcoin, right? Forget fiat currency, doesn't exist. We have gold and now we have Bitcoin. And people are starting to trade Bitcoin for gold coins, let's just say. Then I would say in that universe, a Bitcoin is a gold substitute. Then that doesn't make Bitcoin money, it makes it a money substitute. So then that's when Bitcoin's qualities is fungible, divisible, etc. That would make it a good money substitute, right? But not money, because it would have to go back to Bitcoin, to gold itself. Because if you imagine a universe, right? There's no gold, there's no silver, and somebody just invented, there's no paper money, there's nothing, it's just barter. And then all of a sudden somebody invented a Bitcoin, okay? in that theoretical universe, Bitcoin could never, ever have any value because nobody wants the thing for itself. It doesn't do anything. You can divide it, you can make whatever, but nobody wants the thing for itself. So money cannot start that way. It cannot be the origin point of money. It can only attach itself. Bitcoin can only attach itself as a substitute on top of what money is, which has to be a commodity that people want for the thing, or most people want for the thing, or that the most people want for itself.
Okay.
And then the right?
Yeah. No. So it sounds to me, I'm going to reduce your argument, Rafi.
Okay.
Gold is money because you like gold.
No, not because I like gold.
But enough people like gold. Gold is money
Yes.
because enough people like gold, right?
For itself, for no other reason than
right?
itself.
But I think so. Bitcoin is a new entrant into the market. I'm proposing that gold, silver, and Bitcoin are three forms of sound money, with Bitcoin as the newest form of sound money, which is yet to find, its price discovery. But more and more people are wanting it. Now we got Ecuador a few months ago making it an official currency and giving everybody who, $30 worth of Bitcoin at the time, right? So
yeah, so there you see what you just said, that $30 worth of Bitcoin. That Bitcoin is the dollar substitute, which is what gives it its value. It's always going back.
But only because the dollar is the reserve currency. It's a stick that we use to measure it by.
Yeah, I'm saying Bitcoin needs a stick. It can't be money origin.
But gold we measure by dollars. Silver we measure by dollars.
No, we don't measure gold by dollars. That's wrong. We measure gold by what it can buy you.
No,
and not only that, we measure and not even that. We measure gold by itself because people want it for itself. How much gold people want?
Yeah, people want it for itself.
Yeah,
because of its utility. I think.
No.
People don't want rhodium or palladium or platinum or diamonds to the same degree.
Not to the same degree, but they do. But those could be monies, but they're not good monies because they lack a lot of the characteristics that gold has, which is why they're not very good monies, and they're never used as that.
Okay, all right. We may never agree on this right now.
No, we won't, but it's okay.
But it's okay. No, it's great to have this conversation, and I hope it's been useful for people. Here's what I recommend people should do. People should send all their Bitcoin to Rafi, who will then send it on to me.
Look, I'll accept your Bitcoin. I'm not against Bitcoin. I think it's a great invention, but I think it's a waste of energy with all this mining stuff. What I love about Bitcoin is that it opens up people's minds to the fact that money printing is a problem. At least they get that. They understand that there's a problem with government currencies. Nobody really got that. I thank Bitcoin for that, and I'm not anti-Bitcoin. What I believe is that Bitcoin is tied to the value of the dollar as a gold substitute, and once the dollar collapses, Bitcoin goes to zero in real purchasing terms, even if it goes to $1 trillion in dollar terms. That's just what's going to happen. And
could it not be repriced against gold and silver?
See, that's the only argument. That's a good argument.
Or have everything else, everything gets priced relative to Bitcoin. That could also
you can't have that. You can't have that because everything has to go back in time by the regression principle to the origin point of money. You have to have that continuous line from the origin point of money. You can't reverse itself and make Bitcoin, it's like saying the first cause, God, something came before it. I'm not calling gold God, so please don't say that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that you have to go back in time, and Bitcoin can't be a time machine and flip the whole monetary causal chain on its head. It's not temporally possible. So but what you said, that could Bitcoin become a gold and silver substitute? I suppose that is possible. Okay. But that's the best that Bitcoin can do. It can become a substitute if the dollar dies and Bitcoin survives. It could become a substitute for gold or silver. I don't know if that's possible. Logically, I would say it is possible. And in that scenario, then it becomes an empirical argument. If Bitcoin becomes a gold and silver substitute, then it could retain its value, but only as a money substitute, not as money itself.
Okay, but then what you're saying about Bitcoin, could that also not apply to silver? That silver is really as a substitute for gold?
No, silver is not a substitute for gold.
Because
silver is its own thing. Silver is its own thing. It has its own value for similar reasons, but silver has different uses. It looks different. I mean, it's like gold, but it is not gold. It's like dollars, and it's sort of like dollars and cents, but not really. They're two different things. Like a dollar is 100 cents and a cent is 1 cent, and the exchange rate is constant. But the exchange rate between gold and silver is always fluctuating because sometimes people want silver more, sometimes people want gold more, and it changes based on preference. They're not substitutes for each other.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, it's good that we agree to disagree, because I think more and more people want Bitcoin for the thing itself, right? And where I argue Bitcoin's intrinsic value comes from is the work that it takes, because you can't just fashion it out of thin air, and the work that it takes through the consensus mechanism, which is proof of mining. There's a couple of things I just want to add, Rafi, which is you said about the mining and the energy. My understanding, most of the energy that comes from that is used for mining Bitcoin is used from renewable energy. Gold and silver extraction are also similarly energy intensive, but the one that's the most energy intensive, which the bankster owned corporate media never talks about, is the energy consumption caused and the environmental damage caused by fractional reserve banking and the fiat currency system printing bloody dollars so that you can go and bomb people in lands far away with weaponry you just purchased with counterfeit dollars. Bitcoin,
Yes.
gold, and silver prevents that.
Yes,
So
I 100%. I'm with you on that totally. Can I say one more thing? I think it's very important in response to what you said about the Bitcoin coming from the work value. Okay. Yeah. And now I'm trying to be very careful here because I'm not trying to insult you or accuse you of being communist.
No, it's not you. You and I. None of this is personal. We're looking at this
I know.
here, right? And we're thinking, well, I disagree. As long as we stay with that, I don't care. Say what you like.
Okay, so what you said about work value, right? Yeah. So that Bitcoin comes from work value. I have to very strongly disagree with that, because when let's say like a gold nugget was on the floor, right? And I picked it up and I said, wow, this is beautiful. And I put no work into it at all. It's just on the floor and I picked it up. It would still have value. Value cannot ever come from work put into something. That is a very dangerous concept, and it ultimately leads to totalitarianism. And I'll tell you how. Because if you look at the Marxist revolution, right? There was the whole idea of the revolution of the proletariat. Why? Because we're putting all this work in, and things should be valued by work and how much you put into it. It's a very, very Marxist theory of value. What value comes from is from people's valuations of whatever a thing is, regardless of how much work you put into it. Okay. Nothing can come from work value. Work is the cost to produce something. The value is what people value it as. If it costs more than people value something, then you don't have a profit and you don't take the thing. If people value it more than it costs, then there's profit. That's how the economy works. Everything else is communist totalitarianism.
Okay, I accept your point. And I think what the work thing points to is the scarcity. That's because, if gold nuggets were all over the place, like as common as blades of grass, if Bitcoin was as common as blades of grass, we just pick it up, right? Well, it wouldn't be scarce. Right. I think that's what it points to. Now, I want to say something about Bitcoin not being fungible. Because here's the value that Bitcoin is way more transportable than gold and silver.
Okay.
But it's not fungible like gold and silver. And why that is when you give me a gold Britannia, which you're about to do at the end of this video, so or several silver Britannias, and I'm not going to offend you by refusing them, right? There's no history tied to it, because that gold Britannia coin, beautiful coin by the way, looks just like any other gold Britannia coin, and I can't trace anything. There's no history. With Bitcoin, there's a history because of the way the ledgers that's attached to it. So you can see, okay, this Bitcoin came from this wallet, came from this wallet, came from this wallet, came from this wallet. That makes it less fungible than this other Bitcoin, which had a different wallet history. So in that way, Bitcoin isn't exactly fungible. But do you know what is? Privacy cryptocurrencies, Pirate Chain in particular. Okay. Because there's no data to analyze. Monero less so. So in that respect, those privacy cryptocurrencies are way more fungible. And I think we'll both agree that what Bitcoin, gold, and silver represent is the decentralization of money and the I think it's inevitable, the breaking of the bankster cartel, that we will no longer have banks and central governments extracting value from our energy.
Yeah, this is why I like that Bitcoin exists, for this reason, that it exposes these aspects of the monetary system. But I want to end this. I gotta go in like 2 minutes. But like, I want to say, look, I'm not against Bitcoin. I'm so happy for all of you guys, all of you people who made like millions and billions of dollars or whatever on Bitcoin. Great. I'm not jealous. Like, I'm disappointed in myself. Yeah, I should have kept it. I sold it at 1,500, whatever. Okay, look, you did a good job. All right. Now I'm saying, be careful. Like, now I want as much real wealth in the hands of people who understand the monetary system as possible. I want you to be rich. If you got Bitcoin and you don't trust fiat currencies, I want you to be powerful. I want you to be able to control your own destiny. And I'm serious, because we are headed for a real shitstorm. I'm sorry. And it's best if the most resources are in the most responsible people's hands. So for the love of God, I'm telling you, if you made millions of dollars, please lock in that purchasing power with at least some gold and silver that you're storing away somewhere, in case I'm right. And when the dollar collapses, Bitcoin goes to zero in real terms, or close to it, and you lose most of your purchasing power. You want that? Lock it in. Please keep playing the game, but please, we're all on the same team here. Me, you, Bitcoin, gold, whatever. I don't care. But just be safe and keep safe financially and physically, and make sure you have the original money in you somewhere to keep you safe, because you're going to need it.
Yes. Rafi, thank you so much. I love talking to you. And this is why you should subscribe to Rafi's channel. All right. So thank you so much, Rafi. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, gold, silver, Bitcoin, Pirate Chain, Monero as money or not, let us know. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with gold, silver, and Bitcoin crypto profits. This is Crypto Rich and Gold Rafi signing out. All the best.
You could say Crypto Rafi. You could say Crypto Rafi.
All right.